She never took us to the doctor. My mom never took us to the doctor. My mom raised us like we were still in the Philippines. She tried to cure everything at home, like a real Filipino woman.
He makes me crack all the time. Filipinian Tales would like to share a laugh with you as we review Jokoy. Jokoy is a Filipino-American comic that has become very popular in the recent days. He credits his Filipino mom for his comic and acting talents. He has toured the entire America with his comic shows, and he has also gone and performed in different parts of the world. So join me as we enjoy the fun and laughter that Jokoy brings. Hi guys! Thank you so much for clicking this channel and join me once again. And if you haven't done already, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I put up a new video. After a heavy-hearted review last time, I thought we deserve laughter on this one. I'm not sure if he is familiar to you, but one thing sure is that he will brighten your day as he narrates stories, typical Filipino traits that he experienced while growing up in the United States, which I'm sure many of us can relate. By the way, please excuse the blips. See, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable if they don't like the language used. So let's see what he's got here.
I'm half white, half Filipino, that's what I am. Which means my dad was in the military. That's not even a joke. That's real shit. A lot of soldiers were fighting for this country. My dad was dating. I'm his Purple Heart.
Jokoy's dad was in the military. Well, I guess he was talking about the time when Philippines was actually colonized by the Americans. And this was from 1898 to 1946. This was the time that the Americans set up military bases in the Philippines, particularly in Clark and Subic in Pampanga, north of Manila. At that time, a lot of American military men actually fell in love and married Filipino women and eventually took them home to America to build families.
My dad would say borderline racist shit to me when I was a kid. Borderline racist shit, but I knew he was joking. It's my dad. Just sitting at the dinner table, was like, "No, I married your mom, right?" I'm like, "Why?" "Because I love Chinese food." She's Filipino, Dad.
Chinese. Here I realized that, I think during that time, around the 1950s, Philippines or the Filipinos are not yet known to many. What I'm trying to say here is that, many of the Westerners still think of the Easterners as Chinese in general. And of course, with the size of China and with our slit, chinky eyes, we're always mistaken for Chinese. So, who can blame them?
Whatever. Rice is rice. What the f***? Rice is rice! That's so racist!
Rice is rice. This is one part of Jokoy's joke that has become very, very popular. Rice is rice. Westerners don't really care where their rice is coming from. It can be Philippines, Vietnam, India, or China. But what is important is that they have rice, and that is mostly associated with Chinese cooking at that time.
That's all we ate was rice. That's the key to an Asian household. Rice. That shit is always cooking. There's always a pot of rice cooking. The rice cooker's always on. You can get locked in an Asian person's house and all the lights are off. You can find the kitchen. Just look for that little square red light. Oh, there's the rice right there.
This is really funny, and also I think it's tiny bit true. Growing up, we always had our rice cooker on. And when I asked my mom, she'd always say that anytime anyone feels hungry, there's always rice ready and kept warm in the kitchen. So that is why we don't switch off the rice cooker.
I sent my son to go get rice the other day. I go, "Joe, go grab a bag of rice." And he ran down a couple aisles and then he came back with this little ass bag of rice. It was in his hand like that. And even though I knew that was the bag of rice he was supposed to get, I started reflecting back to when I was his age. The bag of rice I had to get was the size of this stool. That shit was twice my body weight. I had to drag that shit back to my mom. It's a big nylon bag with Chinese writing on the front. It said 50 pounds at the bottom of it. My mom would sit that in the back of the kitchen next to the trash can. Top just ripped open. Inside that bag was a coffee mug with a broken handle. She called that a measuring cup.
This is amazing, the broken coffee mug. Listening to this, I go back to my childhood memories of all those Nescafe coffee jars that we eventually use as tumblers. And yes, as measuring cups for cooking rice.
She taught me how to make rice. I remember that day. I'm going to teach you how to make rice, and this is the only time I'm going to teach you. Okay, how do I do it? You take a couple scoops of rice, Joseph, put it in the pot. Put water in the pot, squish it around. Clean the rice like that. If the water's cloudy, the rice is dirty, pour that water out. Put more water in there, squish it around. Squish it around. If the water is still cloudy, the rice is dirty, pour that water out. Continue the process, Joseph, until the water is clear. When the water is clear, add water. It's ready to cook. Well, then how much water do I add? Just fill it to this line right here, Joseph. This is how you cook perfect rice. I want the world to know that right now. This is an ancient secret. Every Asian knows how to make rice, and this is how you do it. You don't need a measuring cup, and you don't need a rice cooker. All you need is rice, a pot, and this line right here. And I know there's people watching right now, well, how do you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Well, let me explain it to you. Put as much rice as you want in any pot, then fill it up with water. How much water, Joe? Well, you touch the top of the rice with this finger right here and fill it up with water till it hits that line right there. Perfect rice.
Really funny but true. Growing up, we were all taught to make rice that way. And yes, I taught my daughter the same way too. Forget about the lines in the rice cooker and what it says. Do it with your finger. And true enough, we get perfect rice every time. Just a disclaimer, the next video is not a sponsored video, but it is something that every Filipino can relate for sure. Let's kick in.
My mom had to raise us on her own. She did that shit on her own, tough as shit. Sometimes a little too tough. Like it was borderline illegal, but it sucked. She never took us to the doctor. My mom never took us to the doctor. My mom raised us like we were still in the Philippines. She tried to cure everything at home, like a real Filipino woman. You had to die to go to the hospital. Shit. My mom cured everything with Vicks VapoRub.
I guess Filipinos in general can relate to this. Vicks VapoRub is a staple in every Filipino household.
Vicks VapoRub. I should have died 9 times when I was a kid. That's abuse. There's one time I thought I had pneumonia. I go, Mom, I think I have pneumonia. She goes, I'll put extra Vicks on your body, Joseph. Just rub it everywhere, Joseph. Rub it on the bottom of the foot. And then put a sock on the foot. And then the pneumonia will come out of the foot, Joseph. I just smothered it in Vicks. I should have called the cops.
If you grew up in the Philippines or in any Filipino household, I'm sure you would have had part of your body or the entire body slathered in Vicks VapoRub. It's just how we grew up. We were kind of made to believe that Vicks can cure everything. If we have a bite and it's itchy, apply some Vicks. If you have a cold, put some Vicks in your nose. Yes, inside the nose. If you have cough, slather Vicks on your chest and on your back. And if you have headache, apply Vicks on your forehead. And in so many other occasions, we have used Vicks. And yeah, before I forgot, for inhalation, we take a spoonful of Vicks, put it in boiling hot water, and that's what we inhale while we are cloistered inside a blanket like a tent, while our mothers, count from 1 to 100 just so, we don't complain being inside that tent inhaling Vicks. And I'm mighty guilty passing the same thing to my daughter. I see to it that, she has some Vicks with her everywhere she goes, in the university, in her dorm room, or whenever she travels. The same way, I always have a jar of Vicks inside my bag or on my bedside table. And I've had this habit that I cannot sleep unless I apply Vicks on my forehead and inside my nose. That's just the way it is. I feel like, I won't be able to breathe if I don't have Vicks in my nose while I sleep. In fact, my daughter always jokes that I'm already addicted to Vicks. But then who can blame me? I'm a Filipino mom.
My mom never hit us. She just scared us a lot. She loved to curse, and she used to flex like that. She used to do that shit. She brought that to America. Anyone that does this shit, hey, my mom started that shit. She did it to all of us. You know how embarrassing that is? To get pumped by a 4'8" Asian woman at the mall? Get out of the goddamn Foot Locker. Get out of the Foot Locker. I'm not even in the Foot Locker.
The flex. Well, I guess the Filipinos invented them. It's like gesturing that you're gonna do something, like hitting someone or something like that, but it just remains a gesture. It's just that. It's the Filipino mom's way of intimidating their children when they were little. And yes, boy, we did get intimidated. It's just so funny when he says his mom brought it to America.
I used to cry. I used to cry and tell my mom, Mom, when I have kids, I'm never gonna do it. You do to me, to my kids. And my mom looked at me. I swear to God, she put her hand on my shoulder and she goes, Joseph, promise me, okay? Never have kids. Shit on my dream. Yo, I'm telling you this, man. I became a comedian, which is totally against the grain when you have a Filipino mom. If you have a Filipino mom, that is not the career choice you're supposed to have. Filipino moms predetermine what their kids are supposed to be when they grow up. And you know I'm not making this shit up. There's a lot of Filipinos in here right now that are nurses.
Parents deciding on what their children should be when they grow up. Well, I guess it's slowly changing now, thank God. There was a time when parents insist that their children should have a title, like a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a nurse, an accountant. And I guess it's not only true in the Philippines, I guess it's the same everywhere. And I mean, and with everywhere, I mean Asia. And specifically here in India, it's funny when people say that, you have to be an engineer first before you become whatever you want to be in life. And having been here for so long, I realized that, there's quite a bit of truth in it, because in each family, in each Indian family, you can always be sure that you will find one engineer, at least one engineer. In fact, you can even find families where all the children are engineers. And then many of those boys and girls, after taking up engineering, will go and, do whatever they're passionate about. It could be painting, it could be singing, it could be arts, the theater, or anything that, they're passionate about. But first, they must be an engineer first, just to please the parents.
Today is a good day to get injured at a show. Because there will be a nurse in here like, oh my God, put a cold compress on the head. Elevate the pit. Elevate the pit. Elevate. What is elevate? Just lift. Lift pit. Are you stupid? And I'm not, hey, look, I'm not shitting on you for being a nurse. That's a great job, great benefits, good money. I'm just saying, it wasn't your dream. That was your Filipino mom's dream. My mom wanted me to be a nurse. Are you kidding me? Filipino moms shit on their kids' dreams. And I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. They can't have a dream. What are you talking about, dream?
Another thing that's quite common is that, if the father or a mother or both the father and mother are doctors, at least one or all of them should go into the medical field as well. If one parent is a lawyer, then the child is expected to take up law as well. And if a child is an accountant, then the child is expected to take up accounting. But, this is slowly changing. This, I would say, is also one way of predetermining the child's future. But then, as I said, it's slowly changing now. Like in our case, both me and my husband are journalists, and we strictly told our daughter not, N-O-T, not to become a journalist. See, we wanted to follow what she wanted to do in life and take up something that she's passionate about, something that would make her happy in the future, which I think is exactly what many of the parents are doing nowadays.
I told my mom I wanted to be a comedian. She cried. Why? Why do you want to be a comedian, Joseph? Oh, your aunties are nurses? Your cousins are nurses? Do you see any clowns in this family? I don't. Do you? Shit on my dream right there. Just looked at me and went like this. Joseph, who told you were a bunny? It wasn't me.
Well, I hope you had a good laugh, just as I always do whenever I watch Jokoy. Did you find him funny? Were you able to relate to some of his experiences? Comment down below. Share if you have similar experiences or some other experiences that are somewhat similar to this. And once again, thank you so much for joining me in this Philippine Tales React episode. And if you like this video, please click on the thumbs up icon. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I put up another video. Let me know if you want me to react to any other videos or recent happenings, and I would gladly take it up for you. In the meantime, please remember that life is a journey and not a race. And don't forget to have fun along the way.